and I know a lot of boot camps that are training, people without college degree, with college degree, mid-career people. You're absolutely right, mentioning all the flexibility low code, no code provides, totally. But why don't we jump into some technical skills? Okay, those that are leading organizations forward, and how to get those, if you can give an advice.
So in terms of the technical skill, I just feel like there's going to be a lot. There's going to be an interplay in terms of skill set, and there's something I always like to talk about is different types of individuals. So you have like the T-shaped individuals, you have the I-shaped individuals. The T-shaped individuals have enough depth, meaning, for example, they have C# skills, or coding skills, and they're able to develop and good good software. Then you have other broad knowledge of, let's say, cloud, different other infrastructure, low code, no code, but they have a broad knowledge, meaning they be able to work in cross-functional teams. They have that kind of expertise. They'll be able to collaborate. But your I-shaped individuals, which companies, a lot of companies have relied on in the past a lot, is someone that knows just one thing, right? And the problem with intelligent automation, we're looking at a couple of technologies. We're looking at different varied skill set. Whatever bring it to the team. It's going to be relevant. So I will always advise having you need all these technical skills. You need someone, for example, as the way with the way AI is growing, most companies will definitely need a data analyst. They will need some ML engineers that can actually use mine a lot of data, mine a lot of their datas, and use them to give insight. You would still need your traditional coders as well. Your traditional coders will still be working on very complex tasks. You can't really take away all the idea of coding and replace that with low code, right? There are opportunities for low code, and there are also opportunities for full time, full heavy coding. So companies will still need all these technical skills. You definitely need RPA. It's always best to layer RPA, with different other technologies, because it seems to work very well. Process mining and RPA, low code and RPA, chatbot and RPA. So RPA would still be the fabric. It's connecting all of these technologies together. And I think in terms of that skill set, it's going to be multifaceted. What companies are looking for at this point. And I think I started seeing some of the if you've seen it on LinkedIn, people have gone from RPA developer or local developer, into intelligent automation consultants. So it's all the dynamics have changed, because people are beginning to say, oh, I can really bring in all this my technical skill set, and it's going to be relevant to the role.
Wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for these guidelines. I learn a lot. I learn a lot from my guest over here, Tolani. So thank you for sharing it. I'm sure people will find value. All right, if they kind of incline towards one end or another, because yeah, intelligent automation universe is only expanding. All right, it's not gonna slow down. We will need more people, not less people. Although people, somehow get this idea that yes, automation replacing talent. So that's not the case. Lots of opportunities out there, and you mentioned a few. Yeah, absolutely, a few important areas on LinkedIn, even jobs, right, where companies seeking for talent and they cannot fulfill that talent as of. Absolutely. So why don't we jump into intelligent automation projects? Okay, any successes, any like beautiful inspiring examples, how organizations transform, how they reach their goals, and again, people, right? People, of course, keeping customers and employees happier. Mhm.
I think it's a very popular use case. It's about invoice processing. No matter how big the organization is, or is a small enterprise or SME, you would definitely process invoices. And for larger organizations, you have segregation of duties, where you have your accounts payable, you have your account receivable, your suppliers, you have procurement. There's a lot of actors in place. And when you have, with your accounts payable, they process all incoming invoices. And this would be all coming invoices. It could be PDF, it could be paper form, wherever electronic form, doesn't really matter. So, but they do a lot of, manual task, because they have suppliers, different suppliers. For big organizations, let's say you call it Microsoft, for example, they will potentially have different suppliers providing some different kind of service to them, right? And once this invoice is coming to their table, let's say through a centralized mailbox, for example, whether scanned, doesn't really matter how it looks like. There's a lot of manual task, and the manual task involves, data entry into ERP, data validation, for example, just and looking at, let's say, even as simple as looking at the line items to make sure that the line items actually equal the grand total, right? Looking for errors, discrepancies, looking for matching against POs and all of that, and there's a lot of task, there's a lot of effort spent on data validation. And normally, this would normally, upon receipt of an invoice, you should have 30 days to, fulfill that invoice and pay your suppliers. But some companies still have problems trying to pay their suppliers because there's a lot of back and forth. And and that's where automation and RPA and IDP comes into place. IDP can be hooked up to your email boxes, right? And so it directly ingests this document from different sources. It can be coming from different sources. Even there are opportunities to even open up like mobile apps as well, where your suppliers can scan invoices. So IDP can integrate with all of these different sources. It does a couple of things for you, right? The first thing it would try to do is index those documents. So opportunities for companies to index documents. It indexes documents. It's able to split and make a decision whether this is a supplier invoice, if this is a credit memo, for example, or different types of invoices. And once it does that, once it's able to classify that, it's able to do even some manual checks as well for you, right? Validate, if the grand total is equals the number of line totals as well. It's able to, do all these this validation verification. If there's a signature required, it checks it, just to validate there's a signature on file. Then it's also one beauty about IDP is it has several connectors, right? And some of these connectors, can link you up with RPA, and some of the connectors can also link you up with ERP directly, right? So, but if you had RPA in that, in that position as well, doing some, some repetitive task, so your RPA is able to go into your ERP and do like, PO matching. Your RPA is able to go into your ERP to do a lot of data entry, right? Your RPA is able to, route a lot of the requests to different teams, like your procurement team is able to do a lot of validation, and is also able to do a lot of chase ups as well, like sending emails, trying to receive, information from your suppliers as well. So that kind of helps, and that can help you reduce the number of, back and forth. And you can take a process that could take between 30 to 35 days just down to a day. It's really possible with RPA. So you can, even most of the time, the suppliers are already receiving, they're receiving payment within a few days. So I think that's the beauty of, seeing invoice processing and RPA coming to life and helping companies to achieve, really, really great outcomes.